I shot this great sketch a couple months back, and now we're just finally finishing it up. And so I was editing with him a lot of this past week. And, you know, it's like the only parking available near him was 2-hour meter, so I'd have to keep going back and feeding the meter and coming back after 2 hours or whatever. So I go back. He lives on the 3rd floor, so I go out and I feed the meter. I come back. The buzz, I'm like catching up on my phone to see like what's going on. I walk up the flight, and I walk in. The apartment's, I guess it doesn't really matter what number it is.
None of what you have
does
said
matter
already
because
has mattered.
But it does, because it was on the 3rd floor, right? It was on the 3rd floor. So I walk into this apartment, and I open the door, and I had met his roommate just for the first time 5 minutes ago. I walk into the apartment, and there's a person standing there. The hallway is pitch black. It's a long, narrow hallway. Hallway's pitch black. It's like, you know, all of a sudden reeks of smoke. I walk in. I close the door behind me. I walk in. I take another step in. There's a guy standing in the living room staring at me, like kind of like staring at me, and it was saying like, "What's up?" Like that to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I again, because I just met the roommate, I was like, that doesn't look like the roommate. Maybe that's the roommate's friend.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another person that just entered the apartment or whatever. And so I was like, that hits me at the same time that I'm like, this smells like cigarette smoke. It didn't smell like cigarette smoke in here. And the guy who's in the apartment that was standing there turns his back to me and walks into the other room while casually talking to someone in that far room, which is the room I was going to. That's the room I was going to go into.
Yeah, yeah.
So I go, what? And I look around and I take and I start noticing little things like, that's not the same table. That couch is different. This isn't the TV.
No.
I walked, instead of the 3rd floor, I walked into the 2nd floor apartment. The motherfucker had his door open.
Yeah.
His door was just unlocked, and I walked into his apartment. I closed the door to his apartment, and he stared at me and was acknowledging me.
And turned
his back to me.
That's how
with
much
an
of a
intruder.
pussy he thought you were.
Oh, no, fuck that. Because actually, you know why I think that might be true? Because when I went upstairs... When I went upstairs,
You know, on second thought,
I was talking to Rob, and they go, "You didn't go into 2A. Like, you went into 2." They were talking to his roommates, like, "He went into fucking 2A." There are notorious people who just do a ton of crack cocaine, and they're like, it was like I walked into a training day house. I walked into a house.
The frame of your body looks like you belong.
Yeah, they were like,
they're like, this guy is clearly smoking crack.
We saved a beanbag chair for you in the back.
He doesn't have an ounce of fat on him.
But dude,
Look at his wedding ring. It's like falling off.
Clink! I gotta hold my finger if I do that.
I'm waiting outside. It's me solo because Alexis is out in Ireland, and I'm waiting on the bench, and I'm just kind of checking my phone, doing nothing, standing just in a very pronounced spot by myself, with away from traffic,
right?
Away from, like, I'm not impeding anybody, right? And right then, a girl that I had noticed walked in. She had like long dreads, beautiful black woman. She was walking out of the showroom towards the bathroom, towards me, and what I read as her girlfriend, white chick, kind of nebbishy, was also walking towards the showroom. So it's like this big collision, right where I am, and they collide and talk. Right, like 3 inches from me. So I'm now all of a sudden stuffed in an area
with this beautiful black woman and these other people.
No, the lesbian couple,
right?
That were just basically finishing a fight in front of me.
Oh no!
So they were just like, they were kind of like, well, hey, I just wish you wouldn't be like that. And this girl was like, I'm sorry, I know I was fucking up. And like right next to me, and I'm like still checking my phone, and they're still here. And then they start hardcore making out.
Oh my god!
Like literally this close to my body, where I'm like checking my phone, and I had to, like, after 30 seconds, because I stayed for as long as was comfortable, I had to then literally step over the bench, the pew, to get away from them. And I was like, does nobody see a problem with this?
Oh my god!
And they could not even take their heads apart from each other to even notice that they were being a wild inconvenience to a human, had zero spatial recognition of what the fuck they were doing.
But it's because you should be supporting it, Michael.
I guess.
that's the problem. I thought about this.
I did call them out while I was on stage, though. I was like, you guys really didn't even notice I was there when you two were just basically fingering each other in the hallway before. And they were like, oh, sorry. And I was like, let me guess, you were in a fight earlier. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, what was it about? I brought it back.
what was it?
And they got back into a fight.
no,
it was
they
about
didn't.
something like they didn't want to. One of the nebbishy bitch didn't want to like show up to the family gathering of the other chick, or like it was some like hack bullshit.
Yeah,
and,
some rom-com.
Yeah, but it was so perfect because you could see their contention like rise again and then still being stuck to their point. And I was like, I'll leave you with that. Next comedian.
That's when you wanna make your Irish goodbye.